Hello, everyone. I'm John Higgins, contributing writer to Film and TV Now, and I'm delighted to welcome one and all to this interview special with the filmmaking team behind a very important short film, Don't Cry, filmmaker Linzy Attenborough and her collaborator and lead in the film, Andrea Aviet. The film deals with domestic abuse and is based on Andrea's book, White Sorrow, and it's also about the strength that's needed to overcome. Linzy and Andrea, a warm welcome to you both.
Hi, John.
Okay, so let's start at the beginning. I mean, how did you, tell us about, Andrea, tell us a bit about White Sorrow and the genesis of that book and how long it took you to make and what was the process in getting that written?
Okay, so White Sorrow is based on my true story of abuse and survival. And it took me a while to write it because it was actually meant to be like a personal diary and also something which my children could read and recall when they were older and get to know exactly why they don't have a father in their life. Because of course, many people break up and they separate, but the fathers play a very vital role in their life and, prominent role. They do see their father maybe during the weekend or some kind of meeting. But in our case, there is no meeting at all. And I wanted them to exactly understand why, because they were very young and, people forget. People don't remember what happens when you're maybe 5-month-old baby. You don't actually remember or know what's happening in your life. And it was mainly written for them. And while I was writing it, it took me a few years because my mother, who was alive at that moment, did not want me to publish anything. She did not want me to tarnish the family name. So pride came into, play. And I thought for them to have something and for them to understand why their life took the route in which it went down. And while I was on this journey, I discovered there were many other ladies and young girls who were also having this kind of an issue and this kind of a problem. Powerful but relevant topic. And if you haven't been through it, you won't understand it. But for those who have been through it, it's a problem of how to deal with it and come out the other side. And I found that since there were so many who felt bad and felt awkward and couldn't speak about it openly. So I thought my story we went through and how we came out the other side would actually help others and be like a self-help book for them. Because not everyone can afford a shrink or not everyone can afford counseling or have the patience to be on a waiting list to get that help. And I thought it would be a powerful tool of how you can actually help yourself overcome, all of these negative emotions and make life beautiful once again.
Well, thank you very much for sharing that. I mean, this is a very significant film, so thank you very much for making it at this point. So how did you two get together and how long did it take to develop the script itself?
So Richard Llewellyn Barnett of IWIC suggested that we work together. He put us in touch because I've always been, for me, women's empowerment is very important. And I produced a women's empowerment television program for about 4 years. So obviously Richard knew about that and he knew it was my passion. And obviously I've been directing film. So I was put in touch with Andrea and, straight away we really connected and really understood each other. I've had some similar experiences, though I've not got children, and so I can't imagine how you break that to them, but I think it's 1 in 3 women. I've had close friends that have been through similar experiences. I know so many women, and it's about coming out the other end and realizing that you're a survivor and not a victim, and identifying that you're a survivor and not seeing yourself as a victim, and that perspective. And obviously that's something that Andrea it's very important to Andrea as well. So we really kind of connected on that level, and she had a really, really clear idea of what she wanted to do. So Andrea, you'd seen another short film, was it Baba Black Sheep?
Yes. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yes.
And a very, sorry, so it was a very simple short film, wasn't it?
Yes, it was. I've been wanting to make White Sorrow into a full-length feature film for ages. And I've gone actually to Cannes, and we went to MIPCOM, and I've been all over banging and knocking on doors to try and see how to make my dream into a reality. And I've been trying for years until Richard came along, and then Linzy came along, and whew, all the dots connected. And I was like, yes, thank you, finally headway. Because it's about who you know and who they know and how you get connected. And one of the ladies who I met on LinkedIn, because I'm very, very active on there, she actually had this short film, which she did, which was called Baba Black Sheep. And it was just like a very short story. And that gave me an idea. And like this light bulb went off in my head and said, okay, so if she could do that, I can most probably pull this off. I just need the right people. And then, of course, the rest is history. Richard and Linzy and the wonderful, fantastic team which we have, they just all came together. And I wanted to show how, our life took a turn. So how it was the past and the present and, what the future actually looks like. And we just got it together.
Mm-hmm.
So we wanted to create something that would inspire women, that was very short and very simple and very easy to, and because Andrea has self-funded the short film, it's all, so it was a very small budget, so obviously it made sense to do something short that we could accomplish and do really well and make with really good quality, as opposed to doing something really long, because we could afford a professional crew for one day, and we could afford, reasonable locations for one day. So we had to shoot the entire film in one day, and we had a day's rehearsal as well. There's the crew were all people that I'd worked with. I really wanted a woman director of photography. So I worked with when I was location managing a feature film, again shot by another woman director, Lola Atkins, and Violetta was the cinematographer on that. So we'd been on some recce's together, and I knew her through then. And I wanted someone that it really resonated with. I mean, so I was almost like casting the crew from people that I knew. And then John, the focus pillar, he's a dad, and Daniel, our sound recordist, is now a dad and was just about to have a baby. I don't think Barry's got children, but the gaffer, but I don't have children either. But I was casting the team kind of so that everyone really related and understood the story and what it was about. So we had an amazing team, and we hope to keep the same team for the feature film, don't we, Andrea, as well? So we are able to hopefully make a powerful film that inspires women, but also hopefully use the short film as a kind of proof of concept, showing how important this story has to be told. Obviously, hopefully that way we might be able to generate some interest in, potentially investing also in the feature film.
Yeah, I mean, the great thing is you probably answered about 3 or 4 questions there, which is quite nice, because I think I was going to ask you about your production team, how long it took to make and stuff like that. Now, Andrea, we understand that you aren't trained as an actor, but what's interesting is that we understand Linzy's very happy with your performance and you came across very well in the film. But I wanted to know, I mean, how did this short film help tap into your emotions? I mean, would you like to expand on what you did in this film and to perhaps to do more work which is theatre and film based? Because I think it would be interesting to see how you sort of adapt to dramatic roles. I mean, with a bit of guidance, I think that it would work very well. So tell us a bit about how the emotional connection you had doing this film has helped you.
It was hard. I've got to start with first saying that it was extremely hard and draining. I mean, everyone wants that, that lovely marriage, that happy ending, the fairy tale, including myself. And for me to put on that wedding dress and act as if I was all happy when I knew, I was not happy at that stage, like reenacting it now, I knew that I was not going to be happy. And I haven't got that happy, marriage like experience. So it was very hard to act that, to feel beautiful in a wedding dress when you haven't actually experienced that. Going into the pregnancy part of when I was pregnant, it was awful because it was actually reliving what I went through. And the reason why it was so important for me to do that is because I had discussed this earlier with others and also with Linzy, is I didn't want an actress playing my part because I felt I would not be doing justice to it in a way. Because it's very easy for a trained actress to act and bring up those emotions because that's what they're trained to do. But I really wanted every survivor out there who is watching this to know that it is my story. I went through it and I've come out the other side, and it's not acting, it's my real life experience. So it was awful.
I think that the question is would you do it again? And I think you shouldn't.
Yes.
I mean, it was really emotional and very difficult and very challenging, and especially because she had to do more than one take. So she had to relive not real experiences, which are her own traumatic experiences, and actually relive that trauma. And actually that can cause post-traumatic stress disorder if you keep bringing up. I mean, we hope, Andrea, I think you said it was cathartic, but and I think it was this one time cathartic, but to have to keep reliving those same experiences over and over again can be quite harming. And although that is, actors do draw on their own real experiences and real emotions, when it's a real story and it's really something that you actually experienced and you're reliving it over and over again to keep it real for every take, it's just very, very draining, and I wouldn't wish it upon anyone. And I think that Andrea and I were discussing that we probably would get an actress to play her. She's done it and she's very brave, and we've done it in this short film, but for the feature film probably we would cast an actress.
Oh yeah, what I was meant to say was, as I'm saying, my question, what I was wanting to clarify was that if somebody offered you the opportunity to be an act in a film which is unrelated to this, if you did a film which was totally contrasting, would you consider it? But again, you've been very brave. You would.
I would.
Perfect.
Because I believe in growing. And yes, I went through this dance, but I am a survivor. I have come on the other side. I want to empower women, and I want to show them that you don't have to be stuck in that, you can move on. And that's what I want to do. The reason also of having this made into a short film is to move on. What's the next step? What comes after? And there's another 3 full-length feature films which I want to do, completely different stories. So it's all about growth, development, and what's the next level.
Well, you certainly have the talent, Andrea. You certainly could do it. But I just think I wouldn't want to put you through that experience again. And obviously, do the whole film, it would be not just one day or two days with a workshop and then a shoot. It would be actually, months, potentially of reliving those experiences. And I just don't think anyone should have to do that.
No, I mean, yeah. I mean,
it would be good if the actor had been through.
Yeah, I mean, it's. I think it's a very. Thank you very much for sharing your perspective on that, and I'm really pleased. Now we understand, Andrea, you're a motivational speaker, and so how do you help others develop as a motivational speaker?
Well, you use your own life experience, you tell them what you went through, and you show them that, there is nothing keeping you from actually progressing and going ahead. So I draw on my own life experiences, on everything which was negative. People actually, they look at you and they think they know you. Like, I'm short. I'm not even 5 feet, so I'm very tiny. And usually if you see me, I'm with my trainers and I'm running around. So usually I get judged, oh, this is a single mom, always running around. But then I also do a lot of other things. So I learned property, I've written a book, and I've developed a movie. I've represented UK on a global level. We have gone for conferences. I've spoken for domestic abuse, and I've got a medal and BEM. So there is a lot of different sides to me. So what I try to inspire people and to get them to know is that don't let other people's judgment run off on you. And you should not start believing what others think about you. You just look in the mirror, look at yourself, remember who you are, what you know about yourself, and what you can achieve. And then you take it from there. Do not, keep yourself in a box or look at yourself through other people's eyes. Look at yourself through your eyes and your inner belief. And that's what I believe.
Okay. So, I mean, are there plans in terms of the strategy for showing this film and screening it? I mean, are you planning to show the short to domestic abuse counselors and charity organizations to highlight the issues explored in the film?
Well, we are planning to do a lot, and we are entering into festivals around the globe to try and raise awareness. We will be also contacting the Parliament, the UK Parliament, and everywhere else. So we do have a list of things which we are going to be going ahead and doing. And
there are some charities that have already expressed an interest. But because of the way that film festivals work, we have to wait for it to finish the festival circuit. And then, obviously, yes, we can use it for other purposes as well.
Mm-hmm. So, Linzy, going on to your work as a filmmaker and producer, I mean, in terms of evolving as a producer, I mean, when you look at each project that you do, because you've obviously done a lot of stuff now with various people, and you had a team that you knew from various projects in the past. I mean, what are the common blocks that you encounter every time you start a project?
Well, the common blocks, that's a really interesting question. I mean, obstacles, really money, I guess, is the biggest obstacle that we all face, because obviously money and time, because, any of us have a good idea for a film or a film that we want to make, and we're inspired to do so, but then we've got to raise the money to make that film. And, I think that's probably been, so it seems that people that have money already, they can go out and they can make a film, good or bad, but they have the capacity to do so. So that means that not everyone gets a voice and not everyone gets to make films. And it's very much dominated by white men, because the investors are also white men. So they tend to invest in other white men. So I suppose that's a big obstacle, that I'm not a white man. And always been a problem. But so obviously, yeah, that's definitely an obstacle. I think some of the main challenge is time and money. But obviously, when you don't have a lot of money, then you've got to be really creative. And I don't believe that I believe in keeping things simple and doing things that you can accomplish, and trying to make everything that I do achievable.
Mm-hmm. So, I mean, one question I often ask people in these interviews is actually about diversity and gender. Now, we've had Black Lives Matter, we've had Time's Up, Me Too, Weinstein over the last 2 or 3 years. And it's still a big issue. It's an ongoing issue because we've had the Golden Globes controversy and stuff like that. So ask a question for you both is, where do you feel progress has been made and what work do you feel still needs to be done?
So I've been in the industry 18 years, and when I started out, I was directing at 25 professionally, because I was doing a lot of corporate videos, and I was doing that at 25, 26, and I wasn't aware that there was any kind of glass ceiling, or that I was going to be judged at all for being female, or that there'd be any issue with me being a woman director. I didn't think that there'd be any problem. And I was really surprised, and I think I didn't really learn that there might be any, or that was particularly unique, until I was 28. I don't think I realized that, and that was because I was being given opportunities because I was a woman, because there weren't other women directors professionally. So I remember I got one job of directing a comedy for an online sketch comedy thing called Ruber.com, because they had a series called The Audition, where the male people holding the castings became women, as they're holding all these auditions for the female parts, and they're reading the female roles. They slowly become the female roles that they're anyway, so I was given that opportunity purely because I was a woman. So, you know, it didn't always work that way. I think it only became apparent to me when I was 28 and I was trying to raise money for my first film, my first feature film, that there was an issue, and that there weren't very many women directors, and it was more to do with the money people, so not the other people in the industry, but the investors that you know thought, well, there aren't women directors, and you know, are you going to be reliable? Are you going to go and have a child? And, you know, just, you know, that was when, you know, I realized, oh, there's really an issue here. And I think that still hasn't changed. Though obviously I find that there's certainly a lot more support for women, and a lot of women supporting each other in the industry. There's the Female Film Club. There's Women in Film and Television, and there's a lot of organizations, you know, working to help bring women together to support each other. And I think that we've realized that we need to be supporting each other and helping each other and working together. There needs to be stronger female protagonists, so there need to be more female writers, certainly for the actors out there. You know, there need to be better parts for women, better roles for women. So there needs to, and certainly more mature women. That's another issue, that there seems to just be female characters in their 20s and 30s, but by the time you get to 40, 50, 60, there's no interesting roles. So that's another issue. That's something that has to happen. I think that set up a social enterprise where I will help unemployed people to make their films. So hopefully there will be more diverse voices, so that basically, because people don't get to tell their stories because they don't have money. So, you know, and that's why we don't have diverse stories. That's why we don't have diverse films. So I mean, that's a solvable problem.
Mm-hmm. And what about you, Andrea? I mean, what do you think about all this?
I think that there will always be prejudice, but you can't let that stop you. You need to keep on trying, and you need to keep on achieving. And I agree with everything which Linzy said. It is nice, in particular, for people who don't have money to try and actually make their movies and get their voices heard. Because when I was looking for funding, it was a big blockage, which actually stopped me from moving forward. Because every time I wanted to do something, people wanted to come up with their ideas, and it was completely not my idea. And that was because I was asking them to fund me. Mm-hmm. So then I decided that, you know, no, I'm going to fund myself.
Mm-hmm. Okay. So obviously, let's talk a bit about, you know, how have you both changed since making this short?
For one, I'm at peace. I've got inner peace. I'm very happy, very excited to see how we fare the festivals. And it's a dream come true, because even before writing the book, I wanted to have a movie. And I've always been someone like that, who's always been trying to push, you know, and keep on pushing. And sometimes people tell me, do you not stop? And I even have friends who tell me, well, you never seem to be resting. Do you not, you know, just not have an idea, at least for a month? is that too much for you? And the truth is, it is too much for me. I'm always having some idea and wanting to push forward. So I find it a blessing, and I'm very grateful and to the entire team, because they were so sweet. They were supportive, they were sweet, they helped me. And it was, at the end of the day, it was so nice because I was drained, literally drained and tired. And at the end, we were doing the scene where I was praying, and there was tears dropping and things like that. And to get into that, it was so exhausting. And at the end, they were like, they all just clapped and they encouraging me, and they actually encouraged me throughout. But when it was finished, it was like a sigh of relief. Okay, that's all, it's done, it's accomplished. So it's very rewarding inside.
Mm-hmm.
And to know that story is going to go out.
Yeah. And what about you, Linzy? What have you changed?
Well, I think that I'm enriched now. I have Andrea in my life, and that's the beginning of a great team. And we're going to go on to conquer the world.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so we're going to wrap up now. And my final question to you is, what are you most proud of about the film?
Shall I go? You go. Don't all go at once. So I mean, I think I'm most proud of Andrea's performance and the quality and the because of accomplishment and so brave. And although that's something she did, and I was just working with her, I think that's I think you really see her strength, and I think that will inspire other women.
Mm-hmm. And Andrea, the last word for you.
I'm very proud of what we did. Also, there was my friend he's a makeup artist, and she really made the bruises and everything, stand out. And it took me back to a time when I looked at myself like that, with all the bruises and the black eye and everything. It took me back to that mental state. It helped me get there, and it helped me remember where I was and where I am now. And that also helped in a way, because it made me think, when other ladies look at this, that's where she was and this is where she is now, we can do it. And it's all about, us together accomplishing things, overcoming, the past. So I want that strong message to go out to every lady which is over there, and, hopefully it'll give them encouragement.
Okay. Well, listen, Andrea, Linzy, thank you so much for sharing your insights and spending time with us today. Andrea, I applaud you and I salute you for what you've shared with us today. I think it's a terrific story, and the film itself is great as well. So thank you. White Sorrow is available through Amazon if you wish to purchase and read Andrea's story. Linzy is a hugely talented producer and filmmaker and is making waves in the film industry. Support independent filmmakers and talent like Andrea and Linzy. Support those who have suffered like Andrea and bring the abuse out in the open so it can be dealt with and save lives. You can see a replay of this interview on my official YouTube channel, John Higgins Film Review, where there are other interviews with filmmakers. And for more articles, interviews, and reviews, you can go to www.filmandtvnow.com. Remember also to go to the cinema where possible and help cinemas recover and offer support to the communal viewing experience, as it cannot be matched. Stay safe, and thank you one and all.
Thanks, John.
Yeah, thank you. Cheers.
Thank you.